Hello, welcome to the second episode of the Founders Podcast. I'm Reid. That's Ben. I don't know what side of the screen he's on, but um, so second episode. Got a lot to talk about. BBA draft happened. Introducing a new segment again, but first we're gonna start with the always favorite, in the mood.
It's time. Is the music's playing? It's time for the jazz moment. Read the in the mood topic today. What is it?
Okay, so over the weekend, Albert Pujols got released by the Angels and signed with the Dodgers, which is very weird for everyone involved, especially considering he's a legend going to a team that got me thinking of like a team that no one would expect him to go to. So it got me thinking, Ben, what are some other players that like you just look at them and be like, that's like a Photoshop. He didn't actually play for that team.
I would say someone like Blake Griffin when he went to the Pistons. It looked very strange. It was the same color of jerseys, but there the number was different. The jersey was different. LeBron going to Miami was another one. Very strange instance, but then he got used to it. And then he went back to Cleveland and it was a completely different person.
So that was a weird one. I guess one thing that pops out of me is that the really weird one was, I don't know if people remember, Tony Parker played for the Hornets for like
Yes.
1 or 2 years. Like that was just the weirdest thing I've seen, especially considering Manu and Tim Duncan both ended with the Spurs. And speaking of Spurs, I guess Kawhi to the Raptors for that 1 year. That was really weird to see.
It
But
was.
then I think we know that the real like truly bizarre combination would be if you played for the guitars and I played for quad B.
I think that would be the strangest. I got a message this morning, Reid, after Jackie released the rosters for all the teams saying, it's so strange not seeing your name as the captain anymore. And I'm like, I know, it's different. It's certainly different. The blue team is no longer run by the blue man. So
Yeah.
it's I think another one though, Reid, is Tom Brady to the Bucks and Gronk as well. Those two on the Bucks looked so strange. I
I
didn't know
have
what
to
to feel
agree.
about it.
It Yeah, that was a very strange one too. Just I mean, there's just been weird players. Like there's always those players who start and end with one team, like Kobe and Tim Duncan, and there's other players who just like at the end of their career they bounce around and it just looks weird. I don't know.
uh, I think, well, speaking of bouncing around, Reid, I think it's time to bounce right into my favorite time ever. That's history time with Reid.
Yes, with my flirtation playing in the background. I heard that for the first time when I watched the podcast. So Ben,
You
thank
never
you for
heard the
choosing
music
that.
until I put it on YouTube.
Brings back so many great memories. Um, so anyway, history since we talked about the draft. I think, and I was thinking, me and Ben were both captains. Why don't we talk about the history of captains in the BBA today? So when we started out, there's always been 4 teams, so there's always going to be 4 captains every year. So when we started out, it was me and Ben, and we were captains of 2 teams. And then we decided, okay, we'll get 2 more teams. And we decided when we chose captains, we want one person younger and one person older than us. And I'll get to the reasoning why in a second. But the first captain, the younger captain was Jackie, who was a sophomore, or no, she was a freshman at the time. We were sophomores. And then Andrew Fong was a junior at the time. So we had four people. And then the reason why we chose that is that we wanted someone older so that we could go through a process of trying to choose a new captain in about 2 years, I think we thought, just so we can go through the process and
We
see
fired
how
him
it goes.
immediately after, though.
Yeah, no, we did. And then the younger one just to raise up to run the league essentially. So after the first year, Andrew didn't want to do it anymore. He resigned, or we fired him. I don't know what happened, but
It's one of the
and then
two. I prefer
and then
firing.
yeah, so we went through the process of choosing a new captain, interviews, and all that such. People applied, and then I think the the second captain or I guess the 5th captain in history, second captain of the 4th team, was Cody Thurman. He was the same grade as us, so juniors at the time. So there's 3 juniors, 1 freshman in 2019. So that was a very interesting process too. And I think the one thing I took away from that was that the interview really, I think we had in mind we won't, Cody might not get it, but then when he interviewed, we were like, dang, he was actually really good, so we chose him. And then after that season, didn't work out again, so we had to choose another captain. So 6th captain, third captain in the 4th team's history, so 3 captains in 3 years. Very weird. Was Caleb Kim. I think we did the process a little bit different that time. We had like a paper. We didn't do interviews because I think it was COVID, so we didn't even do
No, we interviewed Caleb.
Oh wait, yeah, we did.
We interviewed him right before everything went to crap. We had Jeremy Mesa, Dean McBride, John Paul Cemental. I think even tried, or no, he didn't try. Was he, or was he on Dean's co-captain list?
I think it was Dean's co-captain. Oh yeah, because I think they're gonna combine the guitars and quad B. They're gonna name them like something weird.
We were trying to beg Ian to do it, and he never wanted to be a captain, so he decided to be Caleb's co-captain if Caleb got on. Is that, and then who else is Jeremy Mesa?
I know Jeremy.
Yeah,
and I think it was Dean, and that was about it.
Just those 3.
I don't remember anyone else. If there was, then I'm sorry, I forgot you. But anyway, Caleb was the captain. So the captain in 2020 was me, you, Jackie, and Caleb. And Caleb was a sophomore at the time, so we had 2 seniors, junior and a sophomore. And then now this year, this is the first time that the guitars and quad B have new captains. The captain of the guitars is Dean McBride, drafted by the guitars, and he rose up the ranks after he was drafted. Now he's captain. And then the captain of quad B, different little situation. It's Ishwari. She was on the birthdays last year, but then tried out and chosen to be the captain of quad B. So now the only team that has not had a captain change has been the birthdays, because Jackie has been there all 4 years, which will change.
Stupid
after
perfect
this year.
attendance.
That's true. The perfect attendance. She's always good at that. And then so the history of the captains. That was, we've had, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's been 8 captains in BBA history.
8 captains.
Because 3. Yeah, no, there has been.
Wow, yeah.
3 for the 4th team, 2 for the guitars, 2 for the quad B, and then 1 for the birthdays. And that number will continue to go up because it's a high school thing. High school people will lead it. So I think so now you know who was in charge in the BBA at some point. So yeah, hopefully the captains this year, Caleb and Jackie, are leading the charge with Dean and Ishwari. So hopefully they'll have a successful season, and it seemed like they had a successful draft, correct?
Yeah, and we will get to that soon, but now it is for a news segment that I think will work out pretty well. It is time for Mark Bailey's mystery word. All right, so I'm joined here with the newest member of the Electric Guitars, Mark Bailey. And as I said earlier, there's a new segment. It's Mark Bailey's mystery word. We don't have an official title yet, but Mark, I'm going to give you something that actually happened. I'm not going to tell you the whole gist of it. I'm going to give you just a little quick, couple words, and then you're going to be an expert on this, as I know you are, because you were here at this time. So Mark, your subject today is about Andrew Jackson's parrot at his funeral. Andrew Jackson owned a parrot.
Yeah, I know this. So Andrew Jackson's parrot actually had a horrible racist streak. And all he did was shout slurs. And he would swear at Jackson's funeral. That parrot was swearing like a thing I probably can't say on a child-friendly show. But that parrot would swear. He would say terrible things about Native Americans. And all of that stuff. he would do that because that was Andrew Jackson's like parrot, and he learned that from Andrew Jackson, and more prominently, Andrew Jackson's wife. So Andrew Jackson's wife also had that very racist streak, and that's why the parrot had eventually developed the ability to say these words.
I can't believe you actually knew what it was. I was trying to find the most random thing.
Dude, how would I not know about like this racist, horrible parrot? I don't know if the wife thing is true, but
if you had a parrot, Mark, what do you think it would say at your funeral?
I don't think I could say that out loud right now. Do you want to go and pick another event that I don't know about?
You know what, Mark? I'm gonna find another event right now, just because you found that one way too easy.
I didn't even find it. I knew what that was.
Okay. How about Benito Mussolini and his romance novel?
Oh yeah, I know about that one too.
You know about that one too?
Yeah.
What is this?
What do you want me to talk about? Fidel Castro and his cheese obsession? I could talk about that one.
2 hours later.
All right. So I found something, Mark. There's no way you know about it.
All right.
So Domino's has created a mascot in the 80s. And his name is Noid. That's all I'm gonna give you.
I actually know this one too. So Noid.
There's no way you know this one.
Noid is a domino, right? And his whole thing is that he like runs around and he has like really white legs and he has white arms and he's literally just like a blue domino with white legs and white arms. That's his shtick.
But like, what's his motivation, Mark? Does he have a story, a background story?
Oh yeah, Noid's story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Noid's story is that back in the 40s when he was born, he got wronged by Pizza Hut. Like he got taken out at the back of the Pizza Hut and just like brutally and savagely beaten by the workers. And then that led him to found his own company, Domino's Pizza, to rival Pizza Hut and eventually out Pizza the Hut.
So Noid, sorry, I'm going back. Noid is a blue domino with white legs who found a way in arms, who found a way to out Pizza the Hut and created his own pizza brand.
Yeah.
That's really good, Mark. It's really good. Do you want me to tell you if you're right or wrong?
No, I know I'm right.
Yeah, I'm close enough. I mean, and now it is time to talk about the BBA draft, which happened on May 16th. The birthdays had the first pick. I predicted some things the last week. I was right about some of them. I was very wrong about most of it. The thing I was right about, and I should have been right about, Adrian being first to the birthdays. Congratulations to him. Andrew Chun, who I believed would have been a reserve, was actually picked up and drafted by the fellow Yellows. And then Crystal was number 3, as predicted. After that, I got everything wrong. Okay. Every single thing is wrong. So Reid, what's your take from this draft?
So I think going through the first round, because it was Adrian to the birthdays, Andrew to the fellow Yellows, Crystal Quad B, and then Jeremy Mesa to the electric guitars. You're just talking about him because he tried out for captain. So I think through that first round, there's two people who are like they're going to be in the first picks, and then 2 people who are like we did not expect at all. I don't think we even talked about Jeremy in the draft in the previous podcast. And then Andrew, we thought he was a reserve. So I think my biggest takeaway was that's really, I think half of it was like we know that they're going to be good, or they were good enough to probably the best in the class, and 2 others were just, I think, will be wild cards. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Electric Guitars does have a history of picking wild cards, as you know, Ben.
I was just about to say we should just go back to history time with the Reid because the guitars have done something not just historical but nostalgic and giving Ben PTSD once again.
So okay, and then in the second round, it seems like Nicholas Clements to the birthdays, Patrick Kang to the Yellows, Quad B gets Ben Bourgeois, and
which Patrick before Ben Bourgeois. That's something I couldn't predict. Watching those two different styles on the combine court, like Patrick can run and Ben can shoot. Those are two different things. In my personal opinion, I think Quad B got a steal in the draft. He got Ben
Ben.
Bourgeois went really low here.
I mean, shooters can change. I mean, they can change the course of a game, like just on a dime. Like just make if you make two shots like on the arc, that's a 4 point swing. And if in a first to 21 format, that's crazy. So then moving on, the last pick of that second round was Beekman Chen going to the guitars, and then afterwards we have the final round, Roma Patel going to the birthdays. Yellows get Brianna Guvara. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. And then Emma Naranjo goes to Quad B. And then Electric Cards don't have a pick, but there is something that's transpired at the end of that. So Ben, you want to talk about that?
I unfortunately have to concede that Mark Bailey has joined the Guitars, a former birthday that turned to now former Quad B member. He is the first person to be on 3 different teams, not just 3 teams, but the 3 original BBA teams that have not changed their names. Mark Bailey has been on all of them now. He just needs to go to the fellow Yellows and get a few more scoring records like he did at Quad B, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
That will be so. I think that came out of left field, definitely for me. But I think overall this draft, it looks like it went well for each team, each player. It seems like had enough players for the draft. Everyone who wanted to get drafted got drafted. So I think that's always important to us that people who want to play. So congratulations to everyone who's going to be playing this year. And so Ben, I have a question. So who do you think early rookie of the year prediction?
That's a really tough question because Adrian and Crystal are up there. They're on 2 completely different teams, and not only 2 different teams, but 2 of the least likely to win the championship. I think Quad B and Birthdays are in a little bit of trouble here. Guitars and Yellows have it all fit. I'm looking at the rosters, Reid, and the fellow Yellows have 5 people that could just be in an all-star game tomorrow for the BBA. Caleb, Nolan, Elijah, Ian, Andrew Chun. Those are 5 people. And then their bench is Nick, Reid, Patrick, and Brianna.
That's a decent one, I have to say.
But the Guitars, you still got Dean and Mike, Isaiah, Garrison, and now Jeremy. And I haven't even said Mark Bailey. That's 6 people that I just said. You got Beekman and Julia, but the 6 I just mentioned are stellar against what the fellow Yellows could throw at you.
Yeah, no, I think the rosters are good. I think to the rookie of the year question, I think that at this point, I haven't really seen everyone who played, so there could be a couple surprises. Like we don't know, maybe Emma Naranjo is like an absolute baller, and she's just destroy the league. But I think my 2 picks are probably between Adrian and Crystal, and if out of those 2, I think it will be Adrian because I feel like he's going to be able to showcase his skill. I mean, he's probably going to be the first or second option on the birthdays. So I think that I'll put him in the lead, but that's going to change when we actually, see people play. So
in the birthdays, they still have Jackie, Melissa, and Emily, 3 original members of the birthdays. Everyone else is not an original member. Miles Hong, who joined the second year, John Tergina, Adrian, Nick Clements, and Roma. John came on last year, but the last 3, Adrian, Nick Clements, and Roma, all joined this season through the draft. And you're right, Adrian might be the first or second option on this team because Miles is just insane. We've seen him play before. He's a birthday star right now. But Adrian could seriously take that spot.
No, I agree. I think looking at the rosters, I do have to point. I want to point something out. It seems like we have eight people on the rosters. That's what we set it as. So it's gonna be a small roster. But it seems like there, a lot of the teams there's people. They don't have that many people who played together last year. I would say because if you think about it, for the Yellows, only Caleb, Nick, Elijah, and Ian played. So
and Elijah only 1 or 2 games.
Exactly. And then for the birthdays, you have Jackie, Melissa, Emily, Miles, Josh. So they have the most really who played last year. And even Ishwari played, but she didn't play with Quad B. And so Scott, Josh, John, JP, and Preston, they all played together, but they also have the 5-on-5.
And JP's never played with Preston before.
That's true. Oh, JP didn't even play last year, so it was really just Scott, Josh, and Preston who are coming back from last year.
Those three are great. For any roster, and you add Ben Bourgeois on top of that. That's deadly still.
I agree. And then Dean, Julia, Isaiah, and Gary, they were played together last year, but still that's like almost half of each roster did not play together last year, besides the birthdays, I believe. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how people are going to play together, especially at the start of the season, because that's going. I mean, that's always a thing, trying to find people, trying to see who can shoot, who can't, or just have that chemistry. Like me and Dabler, we played together for 3 years, and we knew each other's strengths, we knew what to do. So I think that's going to be a thing to look out for, especially with the people who play together and how they integrate the new people.
Absolutely. And we got the schedule here as well. There's even an all-star game scheduled, Reid. We didn't get the privilege to do anything like that last season. There's no format set up yet. But what we talked about last year was when Reid and I would do a all-star draft. We never got to introduce it. We only talked about it with Jackie and Caleb. And we never got to do it because of the pandemic. And it's still the saddest thing I think that hasn't gotten to happen, where Reid and I would both draft our all-stars like the NBA does, and we would go head-to-head. We almost did one where Reid and I would be on the same team, and Jackie would be the other one drafting, but
that would have been
it would have been fun. But this all-star game is exciting. There's a lot of people that can make it. Most of them could be rookies. Most of them.
I mean, it seems like there's a really even more than most years. It seems like there's a lot of new faces in the BBA, which is always good. So I think that's going to be something to look out for in the next generation. Hopefully, hopefully can keep it going. But I think as you think of the schedule, the game one. So we have a game one. We have 2 games going on June 12th. Sorry, I'm getting confused. June 12th, we have the birthdays versus the Fellow Yellows at 12 p.m. So an afternoon game to start off the season, and Electric Guitars versus Quad B. The rivalry resumes.
Wow, the rivalry first game.
That is gonna be. I mean, Ben, what are your thoughts on? And all these games are at the junior high, just to say. So that's going to be that's probably going to be a thing that stays. So that's interesting.
I like the junior high thing. I think it's necessary. It's very easy to do, especially with the other games being 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. We can hold the court through several hours without risking going to another court and having to go back to junior high because the other one was full. It's a very good system. It's effective. I think it'll work out. The first games, however, birthdays and Fellow Yellows, it's not going to, if everyone shows up, it'll be a pretty good one to watch, especially with the matchup between Adrian and Caleb. But I don't think the birthdays will have enough firepower to fight back the Nolan, Ian, Andrew Chung, everyone else on that team. I don't know if it'll happen. And same thing for the Quad B guitars game. Quad B's got some stars, some players on there that are good. But I don't know if they got the defense to go up against the guitars at full power.
It will be interesting to see, as all you know. There's always factors that play into it, especially considering who's gonna actually show up and who's not. That's why I have the reserves. So, but it seems like it's gonna be a good season, back on track for the fourth season of the BBA. So, I mean, Ben, what are you looking forward to this year? What's one thing you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to see what Quad B can do. And not to be biased, I think it's the most underrated team at this point still. And not because of everyone who's on it, it's because of who's on everyone else's team. Everyone else's team is full of, players like Fellow Yellows and Guitars. I think those are the two favorites right now. But I think Quad B could be the dark horse in all of this. I think they could come up and win it all if they tried.
I think I can see that too. I think for me, I think my thing is I'm gonna be harping on this all season, but the changing of the guard. I mean, Quad B and Guitars have company at the top. The Caleb has put together a very good team, and if they all get it together, then I mean there could be a new team that actually plays in the finals.
Other than our teams, yeah.
I mean, considering how that team has gone through the first 3 years of existence, 3 captains in 3 years, three different name changes. They even played at like 2 different courts. They had 2 different home courts. It's going to be an interesting thing to see, not to see electric guitars in Quad B. I'm excited for it. Even though I would love to see electric guitars, I think it's good if to see another team, rise up, especially that fourth team, which they didn't even win a game until did they win a game their second year?
The Fellow Yellows or Guitars?
No, the
I can tell you the Guitars did.
I think it was the cheese balls at the point, because I know the Horns went 0-6.
Yeah, you're right about the Horns going 0-6. I remember that one.
Did the cheese balls win a game?
My memory says yes, but one game.
I think they did, yeah. So I think they went like 1-11, and then they went 1-2 last year. But I mean, like, they're looking good this year. So that's what I'm really looking out for, just to see like
another team.
How does that team do, especially against Quad B and electric guitars? So
there's a lot of things to look forward to. I think that the podcast will probably be waiting until the season starts to analyze what else can happen around this time. If more pieces move around, we'll probably come back to it. But for now, we're just a month away, actually less than a month away until this thing starts up again. And we'll see what happens. Anything can happen this season.
It's gonna be a good season. I'm excited to be watching. Not as a captain, it's gonna be an interesting perspective. I'll get to enjoy it. So
yeah, season 4 coming up this summer. Cannot wait for it.